wonder in the millennial Gen Z space or generational band of people, what do you feel, or how do you feel your generation connects with each other best?
That's a very good question. Honestly, there does seem to be a gender segregation where women are much more expressive and men hardly talk to each other. So when I step in as a little sister amongst my guy friends, they tend to open up to me more about their issues than they would with their boys. And with my female friends, they're way more expressive, but it's very hyper independent from a fight or flight mode. So I feel as though my generation has a tendency to become workaholics, if that makes sense, where they will rather distract themselves with work or a hobby or what the gym instead of sitting quietly and facing what they're going through. So that's what I'm noticing. And it is changing a little, like spaces like the Curious Corners there, and there's quite a few others on Instagram that actually allow people to comment and talk about what they're really going through. But I feel as though there's this fake illusion going on that men have to be strong and be the providers and the breadwinners, and they have to have it all together. And like the women have to be soft and feminine and thriving and earning and have the bag. And, they have to be, everyone has to be perfect in society. But I'm noticing as well that that's not what it is. A lot of people are struggling silently, and I think that's where the issue is.
Mm. Now, what would you say is, if you could wave a magic wand for your generation, what would it be that you'd want to heal?
A lot of things come from childhood, a lot of things, and also the love lives, the dating. I know a lot of people stop because when I say they stuck, I mean they kind of lose their purpose in a way where they want to drift about life. But then when I ask them what happened, like what was the cause for you getting stuck, it's usually because there was a breakup that ended badly and neither parties were able to fix it. That was one. Another would be confronting a parent, because now that you're in your 30s or your late 20s, they don't know how to speak to their parents about or to address certain things that happened in their childhood that could have changed the whole narrative. So it's a lot of things, but the two main sectors are definitely love, and it's also childhood.
Okay, beautiful. I love that. So if I think of your generation, I'm a Gen Xer, and the way that we date, in our generation has shifted from when we were younger and how we dated. And I think that the way that 50 plus people date has been influenced by the way that the millennials date. And the millennials very much brought into the open around gender equality and gender fluidity and different types of, I mean, we used to have LGBTQ. That was, when I was growing up, that was very much under wraps. We were aware of it, but all the other types of genders have come now out in the last 10, 15 years. And it's been interesting to see how sexuality and relating in a dating space has shifted. And I wonder what that looks like for you. What are the types of dating styles are you witnessing?
Thank you for that question. To be honest with you, Lee, there's no style from what I've witnessed. That's why I started writing about intentional versus modern dating, because everyone wants to be authentic. And then suddenly when the breakup happens, the two people hate each other and they never want to see each other again. So my questions come from the beginning. What were your intentions in first for meeting the person? But we do, if you look online, there's a lot of things like the male loneliness pandemic, and now it's female loneliness pandemic. And there's all these words being thrown around. Yet at the same time, when I think about it, like back in the day, well, my grandparents now, they're still in their 80s. I actually have two pairs of them, and they're still together with their love, with their partner, with their soulmates. And, you know, I question it a lot because my younger cousins always say that cannot happen. That doesn't exist anymore. And from what I've noticed, I feel as though people don't do things intentionally anymore. They just find attraction, not everyone, but the ones who don't last forever. But they say they do. And like, you know, you meet the friendship group, they bring the person to the friendship group, and then suddenly like a month later, who is that person? We don't know who they are. But I've noticed that it's mainly done through chemistry. That was the issue. When I say chemistry, it's because two people like each other, but they don't have any form of foundation or willingness or commitment. I think commitment is the most important thing, because especially if you think about it, Lee, we call it the Cyril economy, right? So the Cyril economy asks a lot from people. It's demanding. So the thing is that I've noticed with my generation that when the person's foundation, whether it's financial stability or the job that they're working in, whether they're employed or not, a lot of things do affect a relationship, because you have to be solid in order to, people feel that as though they have to be solid in order to be perfect for the next person. But then when the two of them meet, whether it's boy, girl, 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 boy, boy, it is what it is. But I noticed that they have a way of hiding things at first. And then a good friend of mine gave me a great analogy. The first 3 months of dating is like a salesperson rep. You have to sell yourself. And then afterwards, you realize at the back of your mind, okay, this person's we're not compatible. But, you know, because you're really in it, then they feel like they need to stay and then they're unhappy. And I've noticed a lot of that with my friends, with my loved ones. It's just that because the person, I feel as though identity is a huge thing right now, because how can you be with someone when you don't know yourself truly or what you stand for? So I think it's a lot of things. But then that's why my writing, I started focusing more on intentional dating rather than modern dating, because I feel like intentional has a lot more structure to it, where you're going in knowing who you are, you not hooking up. It's not anymore the hookup culture. It's more like you have a set amount of questions. And to be honest with you, why can't we bring dating back where it was conversations and, you know, you're getting to meet someone, and while you're meeting someone, you get to learn about yourself. So I feel like intentional dating is actually what the generation needs in order to heal their hearts and themselves, because there's boundaries to it and the people feel safer.
We're going deep soon. Big talk, real talk. There's an elephant in the room.